Welcome everyone. Welcome to Rise of the Tamils channel. My name is Arjun, and in this video log I'm going to show you how agriculture is very important to a country. Now, if you're thinking I'm currently in New Zealand, no, I'm not in New Zealand. I'm actually in the state of California. So where is California? California is one of the 50 states in the US. I'm currently in United States of America. Now, why did I create this video log for you? So let me explain you. So we all know that US is one of the most economically prosperous countries and has the number one GDP in the whole world. But let me explain you one more thing. Out of all the countries, California is actually has a higher GDP than other countries. Number one is the US, two China, three Germany, and number four is California, a state in the US which has higher GDP than India. So whenever we think about California, we all think about the heart of Silicon Valley because the place where I'm currently in, Point Trees, it's actually an hour away from the Silicon Valley. So we all know that Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, all these companies they have or started everything from the heart of Silicon Valley. But I'm currently an hour away from the Silicon Valley, and I wanted to show you how much agriculture is being done in the state of California. Now, before I go into this video, I want to explain you that California actually exports around 2 lakh crores of substances or agricultural commodities to the world just from the state of California. And that is what we are going to look at in this particular video. Now, you may ask me, what is this place? This place is called as Point Trees. Point Trees is actually, you can see the ocean and also the mountains. And I'm going to show you in this video something which I refer to as white gold. Now, if you are curious what white gold is, now that is what I'm going to take you. Let's go and see where white gold is. If you are wondering where white gold comes from, so white gold comes from these. Yes, I was referring to the milk that comes from these cows as white gold. California alone actually exports around 27,000 crores of milk and milk products. The place where I am currently in Point Reese, you can see the ocean out there and also lush green mountains which has really good grass. So the milk that comes from these cows from this particular area has a very high demand. 27,000 crores of milk and milk products are exported from California to other parts of the world. Now, these cattle, they actually give us milk, but they also rear another type of cattle breed which is used only for its meat. So, California exports 5,000 crores of beef and cow hide to other parts of the world. So, let me reiterate 27,000 crores of milk and milk products, and then 5,000 crores of beef and hide. So, altogether, 32,000 crores of stuff or commodities are being exported from these cows alone. If you don't believe me, you can actually scan this QR code, which will take you to the California Department of Agriculture. And in that, they have given all the data. What are the commodities that are grown in California? What is being exported to different parts of the world? And what are the different countries that imports products from California? So let me reiterate again. 32,000 crores of milk products, and beef are being exported to other parts of the world from the state of California. So I'm going to show you a farm very close. You could see that there are electrical fences. Now these electrical fences are laid systematically, and that is what separates me and the cattle. The cow is not going to cross the electrical fence and I cannot go inside. You have to understand that these beautiful farms that we have here in Point Trees, it is actually an hour away from Google, Microsoft, and Facebook offices, and yet they have these beautiful farms. I'm going to explain you the history behind this place. The place I'm currently in, Point Reese, Pointrees, is actually in Northern California. I can split California into three regions: Northern California, Central California, and Southern California. So to give you a brief history about this place, we all know that California had a gold rush in the 1800s. People from all over the world came to California in search of the gold rush. But as we all know, gold is a commodity that is going to run out eventually, and it ran out. People then decided that instead of the real gold, let us try to have white gold. And the white gold has been sustainable for the past 200 years. So, yes, cattle rearing and cattle grazing has been going on in pine trees for 200 years. This place is perfect or apt for cattle rearing because of this lush green grasses that grows on these mountain tops and the temperature. The temperature in Northern California is not very hot and humid, and it is very smooth all over the year, and it's perfect for cattle rearing. Now, why do I give so much importance to grass? Because you have to understand that this is a great selling point. When they sell milk here in the US, they say that this milk came from grass fed cows. If they are selling steak and meat, they would market it as this meat or steak came from grass fed cows, because they think that if cows are fed with anything other than grass, then it is not good for your health and your body. And that is why they are marketing it as grass fed cow milk and grass fed cow steak. Also, one more thing, very important thing that we need to understand is California alone, as a state alone, it generates or produces 20% of US milk production. That is correct. One state out of 50 is producing around 20% of milk production for the entire country. You have to understand this. They have all these tech giants, Google, Facebook, everything, but still the Californians in US are sticking to their roots, and their root is cattle rearing and sheep rearing. We saw hundreds of cattle in this video. I'm going to show you something which is very, very interesting. You can see something in the roads called as cattle crossing. Now, when the farm is divided by roads and the cattle wants to move from one part of the farm to the other part of the farm, then the cars should stop and then let the cattle cross. That is called as cattle crossing. We can also see that they have dug up ponds here in the mountains. The reason is after the cattle are done grazing, they come down, drink this water, and take rest. They make it a point that if you need to produce good quality milk, then you should have cattle which are very happy in a happy and healthy environment. And that is why they say that for good quality milk, have happy cattle. I have some questions for my viewers. Now, what is wrong with this particular economy? We are seeing that in one of the wealthiest countries, in one of the wealthiest states, they are still doing what is essential for human life. Cattle rearing and cattle sheep rearing is nothing that should be ashamed of. This is exactly what my Annan Seeman, the chief coordinator for Nam Tamlar Kachi, has been advocating. He is recommending that people should and actually raise cattle, goats, and other livestock because it's a huge economy that is in there. Now, not everyone can go to Google or go to Facebook or work at Apple. I mean, those credentials, it's not something that everyone is going to meet. But we certainly can. There are people who can certainly raise cattle, rear sheep, rear goats, and use the money for their lives. For example, let me ask you this. If you really think about it, California gives importance to goats too. They rear goats. But the goats are not raised for their meat, but rather something else. They are used for goat milk. That is correct. The female goats that gives milk are being reared here in California because there is a huge demand for goat milk. And not only the milk, they also make value added products from the goat milk and sell it to consumers. If that is the case, what is wrong with this economy? If we really think about it, we need to conserve our natural resources, our environment. For example, in California, there is a particular park called as Yosemite. Yosemite is completely granite, but you cannot go and take a stone out of it because it is considered as a national park and it is being conserved. Rather, in Tamil Nadu, sand is being looted. The mountains are being broken, and we have quarries everywhere for that. And we also pollute all our rivers with the artificial dyes and the chemicals that comes out of these tanneries. Rather, my Annan Seaman recommends that we should be conserving sand. We should not be looting sand. We should be conserving the mountains and not break the mountains and make them into quarries. And we should not be polluting the rivers, but rather treat water as sacred and not pollute the rivers so that agriculture can be done. If that is the case, I have one question for my viewers. What is wrong with with my brother Seeman's advocacy. I think he is right. What do you guys think about it? We have come to the end of the video and I have some questions. So, what is wrong with this economy, right? If you really think about it, if you take a car and if you drive from Northern California all the way to Southern California, you could see that one thing is common. That is, you could see goats, you could see sheep, and you could see cattle grazing all over the grasslands of California. There is nothing wrong with this economy. You know what is wrong? Corruption is wrong. You know what is wrong? Looting sand is wrong. You know what is wrong? Destroying the environment is wrong. But rather, if you do something like this, it is good. If you actually look at it, if you actually look there, you could see cattle grazing over there too. So it is imperative for a government to teach or educate its citizens on how to lead a good life and how to monetize what we have. So we need good governance, corrupt-free governance. We should have good education. We should have good healthcare. We should have good infrastructure for India to compete with US in any essential aspect. Okay, and here's one more thing which I think we need to do. The top-down approach is not going to work in India. We should have a bottom-up approach, which means in the bottom, which is the villages, the economy of villages should be given importance if India has to grow into a superpower. Now we are at the end of this video. If you really like this video and if you think you enjoyed it, please share and support. Thank you.